welcome back to the University Speaking podcast for episode number 5. I'm your host, Jay, and today we are joined by Danielle. Danielle, how are we?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
And if you haven't listened to our previous episodes yet, go and check them out. Danielle, you actually listened back to episode 1 recently while you were driving on Universal Boulevard, which made me happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah, it was cool turning onto property and hearing the team talk about their experiences at Universal.
And we've also got Kenny with us today. Kenny, how's it going?
Going pretty good. How about yourself?
Very well, thank you. Have you come down from your Epic Universe high yet?
Oh no, I'm still in withdrawals.
Still right up there. I don't blame you. I'd been exactly the same. Right then, so as both Danielle and Kenny have been fortunate enough to have already experienced Epic Universe, we thought we'd do hopefully a semi-spoiler-free episode-ish on Universal Orlando's newest theme park, Epic Universe, of course. I don't think we're going to give too much away. I don't know. You hopefully don't reveal all the secrets just yet. Just try and get some thought. I don't think we are going to give any spoilers away. I'm not going to go into detail about any rides, just kind of how you found your first times at Epic. So starting with you, Danielle, as a brief overview, how was it all for you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Epic. I think just walking in under the Kronos, it's such something exciting is happening. It's such a dominant figure. And I can't believe there's no merch with it. But the Kronos, to walk under and see everything spinning and walking in and looking across and seeing Helios, just simply walking into the park was really exciting, and then trying to figure out what would be open since it's a preview, and then going from there. But refreshing the app, making sure nothing was delayed. But yeah, it was just really exciting. Could not believe I was at a new theme park because I wasn't around in 1999. So I just couldn't believe I was stepping on a property and experiencing something so new. Yeah.
Have you had just one day there? Or have you had multiple days at Epic?
I've had a couple days there, definitely different each time, depending on what was available to go on. My first, I tried to, the Battle of the Ministry was always check that, just check it. You never know. So I always checked Ministry first, and was successful in none of the times that I went there first. So then the first place I actually ended up experiencing was Isle of Burke. Which is, I think Dragon Racers Rally is such a crazy first ride at Epic. Who even chose that? But I just kind of stumbled in because I didn't have a plan. I was kind of by myself, so I just wanted to see what I could do. And Isle of Burke was so fun and cute and exciting. And then I just did Dragon Racers Rally, and now it's interesting that it's not one of the rides included on Express, but I understand it because capacity on it is so low. The loading process takes so long, and everything. But as soon as I got off, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for the Reddit thread on this because I have no idea how to flip. I can't do it. So that was my first takeaway, and I was so pumped to eat at Mead Hall. Those are my things that I was excited to do. Was I wanted to eat in Mead Hall and then walk around and see all the dragons.
And Kenny, I know we touched on it in our intro episode a few weeks back now, but you were blown away at the time, almost speechless, which is obviously not ideal for a podcast. But I'm guessing that's still the case now for you.
Oh, for sure. Big time. So my first experience there was last week, and I was going for pass holder preview. I was by myself, and I stayed at Terra Luna, got on the bus, went to Epic, and I was outside of the gate from 8:30 until they let us in around 9:30. And my first thought was Nintendo, and oh my goodness, the park is so much bigger and more grand than anyone could possibly imagine from the picture. And Daniel's right. You just walk through the Kronos and you're just in awe that you're actually in that place. And I just remember watching, all the videos and, looking at all the construction pictures and stuff from years ago. And then the idea that Epic Universe is a real physical, tangible place that you can go visit.
I still don't believe it's real. I still think it's just a crazy dream that we've all just dreamt about.
Kenny, would you have gone to Super Nintendo World if you weren't naturally directed there? Because I know for early park admission, Super Nintendo World and Stardust Racers is the place you're sent. Would you have gone there regardless?
I think so. It was the land I was most excited about seeing in person, just because I wanted to see if it really lived up to what those pictures and things from Hollywood and Japan were. And it did. It honestly did. Oh, also, I kind of figured that those rides would go down first, so I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and try those out. Well, it's early.
Yeah, Danielle, I guess this is a question for you because you are literally the expert in all things Universal. In terms of early park admission for Epic Universe, a lot of people are saying they're going to go a beeline for Super Nintendo World because it'll get busier as the day goes on, and they'll kind of leave Celestial Park and Stardust for later on because obviously there's two trains. Do you think that's the best way to do it in your opinion?
If people are listening to this before the grand opening, I would head to Super Nintendo World, but not really focus on actually doing the rides, because the rides you'll see in the mornings, from what I've seen, and I'm sure our listeners and the rest of the team who keep refreshing the Epic wait times, it can get to 90 minutes to 100 minutes in the morning for the rides. 3 p.m., it's 20 to 40 minutes. My dog is barking. I'm so sorry. um, um, but
He might have some opinions on Epic Universe. You don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'll go put him in his little Frankenstein sweatshirt too. But in the morning, what I would do is I would just enjoy Super Nintendo World. Get your little power band, go around, punch everything, get the points. If something is a low wait, or you happen to be one of the first people to Minecart Madness, I would go ahead and do it. Minecart Madness is not included in Express, and it's a really cute, fun ride. But if you're going for the preview, I would not focus on necessarily doing those attractions. However, if you're going after the grand opening, I think we're quickly going to see Minecart Madness turn into the Hagrids, where everyone is rushing there as soon as you can. It's not included in Express. The line gets very long very quickly. So in that sense, I would absolutely head towards there. I've seen Stardust Racer at very long waits despite the two tracks. I just think it's going to be busy because it's an excellent roller coaster.
Yeah.
But I just think Super Nintendo World is so compact. You really feel the presence of other guests, like you are in there and it's very full, simply because you're in a world and I feel like the other lands or the other portals, you can kind of breathe a little. Mario is like you're really squished together, I think. So it will definitely be busy. But as my expert opinion and what I've been watching on wait times is I would just go around and punch those boxes and get your points and then come back later. I don't know if you got a power band, Kenny. I wish I got one sooner, but I've been having a lot of fun with it.
I was upset that I couldn't get one before I went on Mario Kart because I wanted to get points from it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We now have them at the hotels. So before they were only at the park, but I did see them at Stella the other day.
Of course they were, because my whole plan was I'm going to go in, I'm going to get power up band, I'm going to get in line for Mario Kart. That was my plan from like weeks ago. And then when we got in, they were funneling us into the land and everyone was beelining for the rides. I mean, it was a big mass of people going to Mario Kart, big mass of people going to Donkey Kong. So I'm like, I don't have time to stop in a store. I got to get in line.
Kenny, for early park admission, did you still get to take the escalator? Or were they feeding you in through the exit?
Escalator.
Yeah. Okay. I was worried that early park admission. I was like, I want to do the escalator. And, okay. Good.
It was amazing. I even have a video like of myself doing that reveal. Film myself go up the escalator, go through Peach's castle, and then it's all bright, and then you step out, and then you see everything. It looked like every video and promotional picture you've ever seen.
Am I missing something here? What escalator? Is this like a spoiler? Should I know about this escalator?
I don't think it's a spoiler. It's just the certain entrance into the park. Yeah. And I've seen videos of people making fun of Epic for having all the stairs and escalators. I don't think it's quite Hollywood level when it comes to stairs and escalators. But just because of nobody's experience, I will, Kenny, I guess we'll treat it as a spoiler because I think it's very fun and cute. Yeah. There is an escalator entrance.
Okay. I thought I was being stupid and I was like, what escalator? I haven't looked at much.
I don't know about the other Nintendo worlds, but I think Epic is the only one that enters through like an escalator, right? Like you enter on the second floor.
I'm not actually sure on that one. I just know Universal Hollywood itself has a lot of escalators. It's like that thing from Fairly Odd Parents where it's just escalator land.
What a great reference that is. It's funny you mentioned stairs, Danielle, because Kenny, we were speaking the other day, and you were like, "There's a lot of stairs in this park."
There really are. My name from Nintendo is actually Stair World because you go in up the escalator, and then you go on Mario Kart or anywhere, and it's just stairs. Like there's so many stairs.
That's
At
actually-
one point, I gave up and just started taking elevators.
Because one, to touch on Super Mario World, since that's where we're hanging out right now, is like that has been the land that my friends have enjoyed the most. And I think it's just because like no matter how well you theme, like for example, a forest is going to look like a forest if you theme it really well. But Super Mario World, just you can do it both the forest and Super Mario World 100%, but simply because of what it is, Super Mario World just looks insane when it's done how it is. So it has been like jaw dropping every time I've seen other people walk in, and then just the detail is so fun. That's my favorite bathroom because I think it's the most well themed. But literally when we exit the rides up top, I go, does anybody want to do anything else while we're up here? Like, because as soon as we go down these stairs, that's it.
That's why I like Donkey Kong Country so much, because it's flat.
Yeah.
Thank God. Some flatness. Kenny, I'll come to you on this next one. How did the atmosphere feel like at Epic Universe compared to obviously our OGs, IOA and Universal Studios Florida?
It was very different. And I know some people like early on were drawing comparisons to like islands, how's it going to differentiate itself? But it feels like a completely different experience. So it's almost, they really sell the concept of like you're traveling through space or traveling through a universe. You go through that Chronos and you really do feel like you're traveling, across like a really vast place. And it's a feeling that you don't get at islands because, it's very circular. There you really do feel like you're traveling through islands because you're got a lagoon in the middle and everything. In studios, I have thoughts on that whole entrance plaza, but
a lot of people do.
Yeah,
I still love it though.
Oh yeah, I love it, but I definitely can see where that they're probably overdue for some kind of front plaza renovation to make it a little more like how Epic's is. I really like how there's a setup, but overall, I would say the park feels very different from the other two in a good way. A good way. They all differentiate themselves very well.
It's so open. Like it's just so open. Universal feel like the buildings are there, islands, you're like doing one at a time, but Epic, you can kind of see the whole center, and you have breathing room when you're walking because I don't even know if there's sidewalk, like they're not necessarily sidewalks, but like the walking area is so wide. I can't even think of another theme park that necessarily feels that open because like Magic Kingdom feels a bit narrow in a lot of places, but maybe I don't know, not Universal Studios, Hollywood Studios. I don't talk about Disney that much. So Hollywood Studios might be a bit wider. But yeah, it just feels very open. Like it's so open. And it is interesting. Like, the portals are there, but they're really letting you soak in Celestial Park before you get distracted by everything else.
I love how we always feel like we're swearing when we say something Disney related.
Oh my God.
Like, oh my God,
when people say Fast Pass, I'm like, okay.
Someone said, I think it might have been Sam who said it on a previous podcast. He said, did he say cast members or team members? And I was like, that's rule number one.
It's funny when you hear like kids say something about like Fast Pass, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, kid, you were probably born when it was still Lightning Lane. Why are you calling it Fast Pass?
Exactly.
And why are you calling it that at Universal?
Yeah, it's just like the Kleenex and Band-Aids of the world. Like the brand has taken over, and people get what you mean, but at the end of the day, like it's not really that. So Universal, you don't have to tell them when you're gonna appear. You can just go. So
Right, we've already jumped around various different lands and what have you at Epic Universe, but let's delve into the lands a little bit more first. Then, Danielle, what was your favorite land and why?
Isle of Berk's my favorite because I think it has the most. Like I could literally spend my day at Isle of Berk. They have a show. They have 3 very different attractions, so they have something for everybody. Multiple good food places where I felt like I could really enjoy a variety of different like if I wanted something lighter for breakfast or going on to lunch and dinner, and plenty of places to sit in the shade, and then walk around characters. You can wait in line to meet Toothless, and then simply the land itself is alive. Which is a funny thing to say when like Frankenstein's Manor is right next door, but like like
the dragons are alive.
the dragons are alive. Like you can go around, and I feel like you can see something new every time you're in there. You're like, oh, I didn't even notice that dragon before. Like if you spin this wheel, what's going to happen? And then like, I think all the merch shops are like really fun to walk around because they're very well themed. So you're experiencing something different in each of them. I just think as a whole, it is very, very fulfilling. And I very much value shade. So I think that's a really good thing in there as opposed to
that's so real. That's so real.
Super Nintendo World is very sunny. And I can't imagine me sitting there and just enjoy like sitting there for a long period of time. But Isle of Berk, it just felt so nice. And the music like gets me going. Like it is so thrilling hearing that music.
Oh, you've got me so excited just saying honestly, I'm so excited now. You literally just sold it to a T. Was that top of your kind of hype list on your lands before?
Yeah, so I think Dark Universe was probably the one that for the last year and or so, like once it Blends to the Park became more like, oh, this is actually happening. Dark Universe was what I was most pumped for. And that's what my boyfriend and I like both were bonding over. Like we're both really pumped for Dark Universe. But Isle of Berk, I just got really attached to. My cat looks like Toothless, so I like because he's this gorgeous black cat with
that can go in the intro.
yeah, with these green eyes. So like I've just become attached to Toothless. And I just really enjoyed it. And preparing for it, I watched the trilogy, and I just felt like I trained. Can you hear my dog?
I love how you mentioned your cat and your dog's opinions. Like, what about me? Barking
yeah,
away.
I know.
I don't know if you can hear that on the audio listeners, but
I think we need to have him on.
Yeah, we had the cats last time. It's Toothless' turn.
I have lots of opinions. But yeah, so I felt like I was most excited for Isle of Berk, and it's also that thing where like, hey, well, everyone's pumped for Super Nintendo World, everyone's pumped for Wizarding World. And I was like, well, I kind of want to see Isle of Berk. So yeah, I would say it was probably number 2 for me, but I walked away with it as my number 1.
Perfect. And Kenny, how about yourself?
Okay, well, on my hype list, I would say Potter was probably my most anticipated. I'm a sucker for all the Potter land so far, and I was really excited about going in there for the first time. It just looked so big and so unique compared to the other ones. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I would think Nintendo, that became my favorite after going. Nice. And I think what sold me on it was that it was so alive. So like what you said about Berk, mm-hmm. It just feels like you're stepping into this world where everything's moving. It's so colorful. Everything is perfectly detailed. It just was mind-blowing, like going in there for the first time. And I keep dreaming about how I want to go back and experience this and do this and all that kind of stuff and eat there. I could have spent, a good half the day in there. And same thing with Isle of Berk, honestly. If I had to rank them, that's probably my number 2. I spent probably the most time in Berk besides Nintendo. And I fell in love with that land also. I mean, it looks just like out of the films. And like you, I watched the trilogy just kind of preparing to go to Epic. Mm-hmm. Watching about a year ago. And I fell in love with the characters. And then when you walk into the land and you see some of the characters just walking around, having conversations and stuff with guests, it just made me have the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't call it its real name in Stairworld, Kenny. Choosing Stairworld as your number 1.
Look, I love Stairworld. Okay? I don't like the stairs, but I really like Nintendo. And there's something so satisfying about hitting those blocks, wearing that power band. I can't explain it.
It was so funny because, like, I don't know what I've been I was like punching it with my power band, and my sister was like, I think you can just punch it without like punching your actual power band. And I was like, you know what? You're so right. Like, it doesn't need to like have contact with, I'm used to like Apple Watch. You have to like touch for direct contact. Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, I really want my power band to last. Kenny, what power band did you get?
I got a Mario one. I kept it basic. It was between that and Toad, but I went Mario.
Yeah, I got Donkey Kong. I love the theming of Donkey Kong Country, and I just I was like, I'm gonna get.
How much do those power-up bands cost?
Oh, what was it, like around 40 something?
40, I think 40-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds a little bit pricey to me. I don't know if that's probably about right. I know obviously ones are more expensive than that.
I think the land is that much more enjoyable with it, and they're anticipating return. So to me, it's more of like an investment, and I wish I had done it on like one of my first visits to Epic rather than waiting until my last one, because I don't know when I'm going back, so I don't know if I'll be able to use it again. But like the land like turned up for me. Like as soon as I got that power band, I felt like, wow, I'm in, baby. Like I can go and do this instead of just like watching people.
So
I
you
know you're
say
just going around hitting blocks and
Yeah.
going up and down the stairs to go find more places
Yeah.
to hit.
And I felt like there's so much more and it's quicker. The wand, you have to, like, you're waiting for somebody to do the correct motion. And then, okay, now you're doing the exact same thing that they're doing. But with this, you can kind of go and it's just faster. But yeah, so I do think 40 might be a lot, but if you're using it and you think you're going to go more than once, whether you're in town for a week or you plan on coming back within the year, I think it's definitely worth it.
So you think is it almost like a necessity to purchase on your trip to Epic? Would you say?
I wouldn't say it's a necessity, but definitely it increases the
enhances it,
enjoyment
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And it depends on what you're into, because I'm like the kind of person where points and competitiveness really drives me.
Yeah.
So like that's why I love Minion Blast so much. I know, hot take.
No, I like it too.
Because I can go in the app and look at my points and then like do a new
Yeah.
challenge. I'm looking forward to doing that with Nintendo when I go back.
I like punching with a purpose, like so. Like
you can punch people with it on.
No, I know. Like those blocks your whole life you've been like hitting in a game, and now it's your moment to hit it, and so like you get to do the feeling and like hear the little ding when you do it is just really cool.
I mean, it's brilliant from Universal because they're going to sell so many to families and kids. The kids are going to be like, I want one of those, and they're just going to sell. So it's brilliant from them.
It's like the new Butterbeer. I mean, enough power-up bands are going to get sold, and that's going to build the next expansion.
Exactly. That will just fund it alone from power-up bands. Now, I got quite a lot of stick for, I don't know, you won't have heard this yet because I haven't released it yet, but at the time of this going out, people will have heard it. But I put Celestial Park as my most anticipated land, and I got quite a lot of stick for it on the podcast with Sam and Cassie. I changed my list a lot. I think I tinkered too much and overthought it in the end. I had Super Nintendo one, I had Wizarding World at one, I had Isle of Berk at one. I just kept changing it too much. But do you think am I losing my mind putting that at number one?
You put it in the bottom or the top?
One being the top.
Okay. Yeah. So I as I told the story about me heading towards battle, I realized I actually was checking on Stardust Racers, because Stardust Racers I plan on being my first ride as I made my way around. I don't think that it's silly for that to be your number one anticipated, because it's kind of the face of the park. Like it is, like imagine if you got to ride the lighthouse at Islands of Adventure. Like this is like you get to do Stardust Racers. And so I think Celestial Park simply that allows you to understand the theming of it all. And the attractions themselves are really nice. The food is amazing, the walk around the fountains and everything. So I think that by understanding Celestial Park, you kind of understand Epic. So I don't think it's silly at all to have that as number one. And the score is dope. Like
it really is.
My boyfriend keeps like hoping it drops on Spotify. Like he's like, is it gonna be and the music you hear on Stardust Racers, I think is a little too loud in my ear, but he loves it. And he just wants the album to drop for Celestial Park specifically. So no, I think I don't think any answer is silly to be number one, but I think Celestial Park, just from theming alone, is absolutely justified.
What I will say is it wasn't included in rides. It was just literally we were just thinking about the land itself. So I was like, just to walk around, like the music people have said is amazing. The fountain, like the statues they've got of is it, I can't remember the name of them. But it all just looks amazing to me. Again, I'm not taking ride into it, but I just thought it looks so beautiful to me. And I went with it. So appreciate it. Kenny, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, and I was going to piggyback off Danielle. I mean, it really is a beautiful land. There's lots of surprises in it. There's lots of surprises. Like I was walking around and saw all these street performers and different things going on, and it catches your attention while you're walking through. And the fountains, if I had more time, like more days to spend at Epic, or like when it gets added to APs, I'm definitely going to be spending a lot of time just sitting in front of the fountains, watching the show, enjoying the day.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a cool hangout spot. Honestly.
However, I will caveat what I've just said to, I think my number one's now Isle of Berk, because Danielle, you sold it to me so well just then. I was like, I think that is my number one actually. Like I don't know if you mentioned it, and I asked Cassie on a recent podcast too, if they play the theme tune of How to Train Your Dragon, the test drive around, and that could be like a game changer for me because it's such a good song.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And Celestial Park is just like, I think the thing is like to compare it to Islands of Adventure,
Mhm.
you don't get long enough to like soak in what are we? What is this? What is Islands of Adventure? What is this port of entry? And Epic, they're like, oh, you're gonna understand. You're gonna get to know the locals. You're gonna understand like welcome travelers and who's welcoming you into their world and sending you on your way to the different portals. Whereas Islands, they're like, here's a giant merch shop, get your photos, maybe get a cinnamon bun and go on your way. Like they don't Epic, they spread it out so you could do more. Yeah.
Right then, moving on to the main event. I think it's probably fair to say the rides themselves. First off, did you keep a ride tally of your trips?
It was pretty easy for me because I did a lot of stuff once. There was only one ride that I did twice. And
We know about that, Kenny. We know about that. You can't believe it still. You got lucky.
But I did write down everything I did. There were a couple things I didn't do. One of them was honestly by choice, and the other one was just I ran out of time.
Can I guess the by choice one?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's your first one, Danielle.
Oh, no, I don't know you that well, Kenny. I was just going to guess that you did not do fire drill.
I did not. That was one of them that I didn't do.
Oh, okay.
But the one that I didn't do by choice was honestly Stardust Racers.
Okay, yeah.
It looked a little too intimidating for me right now.
So
no, that's okay.
Kenny's like me. Kenny's like me.
Okay. That's good to know. Some people just don't like getting wet, so I wasn't sure about fire drill. Yeah.
Oh no, the one by choice. No, the one that I really wanted to do, but honestly ran out of time was Curse of the Werewolf.
Oh no!
Got it. Yeah.
Every time I went, the line was really long, and it looked so like a really slow line.
Oh, no. Interesting. Yeah.
Was it in the shade though?
Some of it is covered. Some of it's covered. I did get to do every attraction, but I had the grace of more than one day. So I was able to do more than one, of course, and then or all the rides. And I've done a couple of them more than once. But yeah, so I didn't necessarily keep tally, but I did, I guess, naturally keep tally. Yeah.
As for your favorite rides at Epic, then let's hear your top threes from 3 to 1. Danielle, do you want to go first?
From 3 to 1.
Yes, keep the suspense. I'm excited to hear these.
Can Kenny go first?
Of course, yeah. You still don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
I feel like Kenny's more definite with his opinions.
I mean, Kenny's got a pen for those watching on YouTube. He's got a pen, so this means business.
Oh yeah, and it's the Cabana Bay pen, by the way.
Cabana Bay pen. Shout out Cabana Bay.
Do you have the notepad as well?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I do, but it's not in front of me right now, but I can see it.
Every time I stay at Cabana, I'm like, oh yeah, new notebook.
That's like my weird thing. I like to collect pens in like the little notepad from every hotel, but when I stayed at Stella, they didn't have one. Okay, I'm done with that part.
I bet you're not weird, Kenny. I bet everyone does that. I've got a Surfside pen somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. See, everybody understands. All right, so anyway, my number 3 favorite at Epic was Hiccup's Wing Gliders. I adored that attraction. It was pretty much like Hagrid, but just maybe a step down in thrills, like maybe one little half step down.
I thought it was more of a kids coaster, so only a little bit of a step down. Oh, really?
I mean,
oh, wow.
Well, here's the thing: Universal's kid coasters are usually like a Disney thrill ride. So
don't bash Disney now, Kenny. Come on, we'll get cancelled.
I'm sure our fan base is cool. But anyway, Hiccup's Wing Gliders. It was incredible. Animatronics were great. I mean, awesome, fun, thrilling coaster. Loved it. So 10 out of 10, definitely recommend. And number 2 is Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment.
Nice.
That ride blew me away, and I wish I could spoil it right now, but I'm not going
to. Do not spoil it. I bet you're so tempted.
All I will say is it is perfection. They did an
number 2 though, not quite, but not perfection enough.
Here's the thing.
Double perfection.
There's this course online that if Monsters isn't like your favorite ride, then you like hate it or something. But honestly, Monsters, if I had to rank the rides of the resort like as a whole, it's definitely going to be near the top. Like it's going to beat out some classics.
Oh wow, that's a great episode coming up down the line.
Yeah, and without spoiling anything, I will say it's probably the closest to a classic Universal ride than anything else in the park or anything that the company's built in like the last 20 years, I'd say. Like it feels like it's up there with some of those old time greats.
Yeah.
And I think if they had the technology back then, we would have gotten a ride like Monsters and Jane. I really, truly think so. And then my number one.
We know the one. We know the one.
Oh my goodness. This ride, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. I was sold on it from the queue to the ride experience, everything, all the surprises, the ride system. That ride was made for me, and I loved it. It's my all-time favorite now, and I cannot wait to ride it again. Like, I watched POVs probably every day since I've ridden it just to remember what it was like.
You got on it twice as well. You got on it twice.
I did. I was lucky enough to get on it twice with only getting a virtual queue once.
You beat the system.
I did. I beat the system. When I got my virtual queue for it, I went to redeem it, and of course the ride was delayed. It's delayed a lot. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there right now. And they gave me an express pass to come back to it later. I did. Got on the ride after another hour-long delay. And here's the thing. When I went through with my express pass, I don't think they actually scanned it because it still appeared in the app like for the rest of the day. And then it got, close to closing and I had to make a choice. I'm like, okay, well, do I want to go to Wizarding World and see if they let me back on it with this express pass? Do I want to go somewhere else and ride, Curse the Werewolf, something like that before it's time to go? And I chose to go back to Ministry of Magic, and oh my goodness, they let me in. They scanned it, and it was a fluke, but they let me in. And it was delayed again. I still waited another hour, like in that queue. And by the time I got off the ride, the park was closed. So that had to be my last of the day.
Just before you go, Danielle, I want to say that, again, you won't know this, but the episode will have been released at this current time. But me and Sam did our ride type list for Epic Universe. We recorded that this week. And he didn't have Monsters Unchained or Battle of the Ministry in his top 3.
That's fascinating.
Which I thought was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. He likes to be controversial anyway.
Yeah, that sounds like it. I think Kenny's list shows you how well themed Super Mario is because it's his favorite land, but none of the rides are his favorite.
Yeah,
so that really speaks to the theming of Super Mario. For Kenny to be such a fan of the land, but not have the 3 rides, any of them in his top 3.
Have you got your list yet, Danielle? Are you still?
Yeah, so I was mentally going over it in my head. Yeah, I definitely have a list. I was just trying to figure out. Okay, so number 3, I'm going to do Stardust Racers. Stardust Racers. And I'm a big queue gal. So for the sake of this, so I don't get too distracted, I'm focusing on the ride. I love Stardust Racers. I love making eye contact with the other coaster. It is
Isn't that awkward?
No, I'm telling you. So riding at night, I had ridden a few times and I rode at night. Riding at night is amazing. Every seat, it's kind of like lost because you're like, you have to ride in the back, you have to ride in the front. So it's fun. But we like took off and I always look to the right to see, or whichever side I'm always looking to the other side to see who's looking back at me. And me and this guy made eye contact. And then there's multiple times along the way where you can make eye contact with the other track. Every single time we made eye contact and he like threw up like a sign, like 3-finger, like little salute. And so I had and it was just like, we were experiencing this ride together, like it was so fun. And then when we were getting our stuff from the lockers, I was like looking around to see if I could find my new friend, and I made eye contact with him and I threw his sign back to him and his face lit up. Like I felt like we experienced something together, but like it is such a good coaster on its own. But then whenever you're realizing like, holy smokes, there's another coaster and you're like crossing with them, it is really, really fun.
If you tried to make eye contact with me, Danielle, if I was on that ride, you wouldn't be making eye contact because my eyes would be closed.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I was like, all my friends' eyes were closed. But it was
How did it
so
compare
fun.
to Velocicoaster for you then?
I would say it's turned up just a little. Like,
really?
It's just turned up a little because somebody said like, Stardust Racers, you're at least processing what you're doing. Velocicoaster, you're like, what even just happened? So I do agree with that sentiment. Like Stardust Racers, I feel like you can breathe a little bit during certain parts and you can process it. But like, man, when you're going over the top, it's the same as Velocicoaster where you like want to take in the park as a whole. But yeah,
it's just I'm still contemplating like, should I go on it or not? Some people have said it's less intense than Velocicoaster, and then people like yourself have said it's a little bit more intense. So I don't know.
And you have it's same as any coaster. Like I love the Hulk and I love Velocicoaster at night. I love Stardust Racers at night. And we, my boyfriend and I bought there's a big mirror you can buy from the Wizarding World, and we got that, and we literally had to do child swap because of this mirror. So, so then somebody in our bar, so we did child swap for this mirror. So we had a 13-year-old with us, and before getting on the first time, he was like, "Well, if I ride the second, like if I'm the one who goes 2 times, I don't mind." As soon as we finished the first one, he was like, "Oh, I'm definitely like I'll do the child swap, like I'll do that." And I go, "Yeah." Like, it was that good. Okay. It's so funny that I say that much about Stardust Racers, and I don't know if I'll have that much to say about like my number 2s and 1s, but I know I like them better. I really liked Battle of the Ministry. I had a great time. Like I think also the anticipation of it finally happening. I did not take for granted the fact that like I got the opportunity to ride it. And I thought the ride, like what you're actually sitting in, the movements, how that was going around, and then the storyline and the characters we got to hang out with. And I say hang out with because those are my friends. Like I get to hang out with them for like 2 minutes. Yeah. So I really like that. And I'm not going to drag the queue in too much, but I like when the queue does impact the ride. Like, okay, I did wait in this queue and the information I learned along the way did matter. And I thought it was just really amazing. And as a whole, because that land can be a little confusing. You're in Paris, now you're in London. But I thought the stuff that they featured in the ride kind of tied it all together in a way where when I walked out, I'm like, you know what? I get it. I understand. I understand why time turners are featured everywhere and things like that. So I'm like, okay. So I really enjoyed it, and I felt like it was just the Harry Potter worlds just keep getting better. Like the Wizarding worlds just keep getting better. Like Forbidden Journey, amazing. Green Gots, okay, and now we're leveling up. So if it continues the trend, they're just going to keep topping themselves, which I really appreciate. And then my number 1, Hiccup Swing Gliders. Man, I felt like
Monsters and Changes come in there.
Oh.
I felt like a dragon. Like I was front row the first time I rode it, and I literally put my arms out and I flew. Like it was so fun. And there's a part where you go over the water, and it's like such a cliche in movies when someone's flying and you like kind of dip your toe in the water, like the spray hits you. And it was so magical. And like I'm like so annoyed that I watch the wait times every day and it's 20 minutes because it was 75 minutes every time I was there. And I'm like, I want to do that ride so bad again. And I think the reason why I want to do it so bad again is just because I didn't get the chance to. So like the desire to ride it again pushes it to number 1. But yeah, I thought it is very similar to Hagrid's with like the story along the way. And then one of the animatronics literally made me gasp and almost cry. Like, and I did not experience that in other places, but, and it was also, I think it is getting a little bit of a bump simply because the time I rode it, it was one of the first rides that I rode. So it had that magic. Like I think I was the only one on my little coaster. I was in the front too. So it was just like, I just couldn't believe that was my life. And then so I've ridden that one twice, and I was worried that I hyped it up too much in my head. I was like, what if I overhyped it?
No,
and then when I rode it again and my friends had a similar reaction, I go, okay, cool. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just the magic of riding it so early in the morning on my first day. It really resonated with everybody. So yeah, that's my number 1.
Could you hear the music on the ride? I'm going back to that music again, but could you hear it on the ride?
Hey, I didn't know. Did you want the spoiler?
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Maybe just leave that. Yeah, we'll just leave that. I'll leave it as a surprise. I'll just lie and say no, and then when there is, I'll be like, oh my god.
I will say that ride definitely surprised me. Like that was one that
I was thinking it was like
underhyped in my head.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, Flight of the Hippogriff was a reskin. So like that wasn't even Universal's, like they had to just change the unicorn to a hippogriff. So we haven't actually seen them do something to me like with like that intense of a theming and getting to do it as like a kid coaster. So I feel like maybe it was a family coaster, but they got to turn it up a little bit because they got to start from scratch rather than inherit what was already there. I say that, but they got to start with roller coasters from the ground up, and that is definitely a kid's coaster. So I don't know. So
yeah, I just again, I have not looked at loads of things, but I just assumed it was quite a few levels down from Hagrid's. But now you've said that, Kenny, I'm really excited for it.
Oh yeah. It was punchy. It's got some pretty decent launches in it. You know, for a family coaster, like I was pretty surprised. Like it definitely, and also I rode on the back row, so I don't know if that influenced it a little bit. But it was really good.
I've done front and middle, and I had like, and literally I just felt like I almost wanted a video of me that first time. Like, I could imagine security watching this grown woman be like, I am flying. This is crazy. Because the whole thing is like so just the dragon experience is so cool. And I was like, remember my first ride was Dragon Racers Rally. So this was like my first actual ride. So it was really cool. Yeah.
Not to change the mood completely, but were there any rides that, I'll throw this out there now, were there any rides that perhaps disappointed you at all or didn't quite live up to the hype that you expected them to be? Or
you want to take this one, Danielle?
You put your finger forward and took a breath. This is all you.
Okay, so not a ride, but I did see both shows. And one show that really, I'm going to be honest, it disappointed me and it left me kind of like, that was it, was Le Cirque Arcanu in the Potter area. That one, it disappointed me. I'm going to be honest with you.
Looked at the name at least, Kenny. You got the name right.
Look, I practiced before the show. Okay, but anyway, yeah, that show just, it fell a little flat for me. I loved the pre-show, loved the queue. You know, the show started okay, and I kept waiting for like a big wow moment, and I could tell what they thought was the wow moment, but it just didn't hit me that way. Yeah. And then by the time it was over, I was like, okay.
Kenny, I was very, very nervous for a second. I thought you were going to say the Untrainable Dragon. I was like, oh my God, he's not going to say that, surely. So I'm so relieved that you didn't say that.
It was a 50-50 chance.
It really was a 50. Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh no, it's happening.
Oh no, I loved the Untrainable Dragon. I really did. It was such a good show. I will say this, after watching both shows, I will confidently say that I believe Bourne is still the best entertainment experience at the resort.
Bourne. I love Bourne, yeah.
I don't think either show kind of measured up to that in that sense. Dragon was really close. Like, it did all the same Bourne tricks.
Yeah.
It had a lot of the same, kind of gimmicks that Bourne does. But
your personal preference was Bourne.
Yeah.
Okay. Danielle, any surprises for you?
I think I didn't have too many expectations, I feel like. So nothing like really was like, wow, I walked away like, okay. I don't think that I'm gonna wait in line again to do not Minecart Madness. I will not wait in Bowser's Castle again for quite some time because I have done that twice now and I got it. I'm good. The ride that surprised me the most, and I think my little group walked away, that was probably the most fun we had, was Fire Drill.
Really?
I'm a big fan of Popeyes because I love when we all experience something together.
It's so good when you get a full boat on Popeyes, isn't it? It's
and
much fun.
And I love making eye contact. Like I talked about with Stardust Racers. I love when we're experiencing something together as strangers. Like, for one moment, you're also on this couple's honeymoon, or so for that, you're like giddy and everyone's giggling and, oh, you got it. And so that's Fire Drill, but also mixed with Men in Black. But there's no actual score being kept, but like you're shooting and on you're like how it's going. You're just hearing. You're not necessarily even looking at the people around you. You're hearing people get hit. And I was the 6 out of 6 who wanted to ride that ride. And I walked away absolutely soaked, which made everybody even laugh more. So it was just from the second we stepped into the queue to like walking off and drying off, like it was a full like experience for all of us together. And it was just really, really enjoyable. And the characters you get to hang out with, I love hanging out. The characters you get to hang out with along the way, I just thought were so fun. And I only did it because my sister was like, oh, like I kind of want to do it. And I was like, if she kind of wants to do it, that means, in my sister's words, she really wants to do it. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And so that one really surprised me in how much joy I got to have with like my mom and my sister and my little group. So that one I think definitely surprised me the most.
Just to go back to eye contact, I do that on Fast and Furious and look at people and think, are we doing this together? What's going on?
That's so funny. No. Yeah. So that was the one that surprised me. And then, I definitely don't have any negatives. I just have ones that like, I got it. And I'll only ride if I bring somebody who hasn't done it. And then I think, I'm just trying to avoid spoilers, but yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah. It was so hard doing our rides hype list because we've not looked at anything like any spoilers or anything, so we're kind of going off kind of like concept art and a bit of concept videos. That's it. So like Fire Drill is just like it's just a kid's water ride, but even the pictures we've seen still looks incredible.
Yeah. The theming is cool. But yeah, just from the line, like that ride starts. So that was how we felt. Yeah.
Now I know food is a highlight topic for most. It's what most people want to know about. Now I haven't been yet, nor are my chicken tenders taste buds interesting enough to discuss. So, what did you eat at Epic Universe? How was it? Danielle, I'll come to you first. Being a pescatarian, how was that?
Yeah, there's a lot of salmon. There's so much salmon. So in Isle of Burke, I had the salmon bowl at Fire Grill, and the Mead Hall had 2 salmon options. So I've experienced a lot of salmon. I would say the salmon itself hit. Some of the sides were quite boring because Vikings are healthy, and I'm like, okay, give me the mashed potatoes over this grain like oat stuff. So there's certain things I want to eat again, but I've been around and experienced every bowl. At Fire Grill, I obviously didn't eat the ones that I choose to not eat. But they all hit, and also like the quickness of such like it's a bowl like they got it to me so fast, and that really okay, I know I can rely on this place to get it to me quickly. I did not eat the mac and cheese thing because the lines have been really intimidating for that one. But I feel like everyone who has had that mac and cheese has really experienced it and enjoyed it. My disappointment has only come from Toadstool Cafe simply because of the time it took to get our food. The theming of that cafe and the delivery of the food, like what the food looks like in theme, and the mushrooms and like the burgers wearing little hats and things. It just simply when a place is so well themed, it tends to take longer because it attracts people. So there's just that many more people. And that is honestly the only thing I would have changed about my day. I probably would have not eaten there because it just took a long time to get garlic knots. The service itself was great. You can only move as fast as your kitchen. And again, the theming was fun in there, but I have not had anything bad there. And in the whole park, and then Ministry of Magic area. Oh my gosh, the creme brulee is amazing. Like I, I was like, am I eating creme brulee in a theme park right now? Heck yeah. I was eating creme brulee in a theme park. It was so good. And I walked away like, is that the highlight of my day? Was this creme brulee? So yeah, lots of pescatarian, lots of vegetarian, lots of vegan options. And then they didn't have the butterbeer crepes available, but I had the ratatouille. Ratatouille. What's the big word for bread in French?
Baguette.
Baguette.
Said in the most non-French way possible.
Okay, I had the ratatouille baguette and that creme brulee, and yeah, it really, really hit. So yeah, I've not been disappointed with the food, and as previews continue, they're opening more and more, and you have people considering going back just because they're like, well, I haven't eaten that yet. And
you're going back for the creme brulee.
Yeah, it was so good. It was really good.
Kenny, how about yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, mine's going to be much more disappointing because when I went, I was like in this euphoric high and just going around to every land and just looking at everything.
Did you eat anything?
And yeah, I only ate one meal and I was so mad at myself. I wanted to go to Meteor Burger. I wanted to go to Pizza Moon, but I ended up eating at Spitfire Grill and watching Fire Drill go by. Like that was a pretty good experience. The food itself was amazing. Like Danielle said, I got the chicken bowl and it was just like a really high quality theme park meal, I must say. And the setting of it was great. And then also there's got little places to plug your phone in, I found out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That
Where you can still watch the boats go by, charge up your phone, eat your rice bowl. Like that's gonna be my new hangout spot.
Yeah, that's literally when I was talking about how I could picture myself sitting in Isle of Burke was that exact hooligan hangout. Like that's literally where I can see it. I did eat at Doss Steakhouse, and that was really good. Also, just take your time, recognize that you can only move as fast as the kitchen moves. But the Astro Pub really surprised me. I had the best grilled cheese and tomato soup. I cannot imagine eating that in July, but the other times of the year, I was sitting next to a table who tried everything. everything. And I can only eat so much, but they told me that I had ordered the best thing on the menu. And I thought that was fascinating, that the grilled cheese and tomato soup. And I walked away thinking, wow, that was really good. But
oh, see, now I'm jealous. I want to go back and eat. So I think the time that I invested in the 2 shows, I'm going to use that for eating time.
Yeah. But I think for your one, what a good one to enjoy. Yeah. I can't even pick, maybe because also like I like blindly don't read anything with chicken, but I can't even picture a chicken tender on any menu. So that's so funny.
That leads me nicely onto my next point, actually, because I know there've been quite a few added to various restaurants. I didn't see which ones, but there'd been chicken tenders are now on the list at multiple eateries at Epic Universe. So yeah, that led me on perfectly, Danielle. It's like you knew what I was going to say next.
Wait, is that restaurant in Potter one of them? Because I remember thinking when I read the story, I'm like, wait a minute, this French cafe is going to have chicken tenders.
I feel like everywhere else chicken, they've just got to. It's a must do, because for people like me who, yeah, basic people like me. Anyway, going back to the all round feel of the park, then. It might be a bit of a stupid question, but did it still have that kind of universal feel and that universal charm still? Because I'm like worried it's going to be like a new park. It's not going to feel the same as the other two.
No, it's definitely like shiny, but you can still feel. I think when anything is that themed to a T, like you're going to feel Universal's presence.
Yeah.
When the music like pulls you into what's going on around you, when you're walking around and all of a sudden there's a statue that was actually a person the whole time. I think that's very like it's there's Universal everywhere. And I think that's why it's nice that like they still tied in dark universe. Like in what world did we think we were going to see a 1939 movie represented in a theme park in 2025 or like, so I think the lands they chose to incorporate give them the universal feeling itself, and then also like that unique it's just port of entry, like, but so expanded and like updated to me. So I definitely think it still has that feel, and it feels still like American. Like I know like when you go to like the parks in Japan, like they have a very Japan feel and how they look, but like ours is like futuristic and clean and neat, but it's still Universal Orlando at its core.
And then the theme parks here in England just have no theming at all. Kenny, how about
for now?
Yeah. For now, yeah. Well, yeah. Roll on 2031.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Danielle. Honestly, I feel like it takes everything that Universal's done so well over the last, decades and just pluses it a little bit with Epic Universe. Like it feels so universal in all the best ways. Like she said, the theming, the entrance area, the walkways, the entertainment, just the scale of everything. It just feels like what they've already been doing, what they've already been giving us, but just a little bit more. And in some cases, a lot more, depending on the yeah.
So it might be too soon to ask Danielle, but saying kind of 2 or 3 years' time, do you think Epic could be your favourite park? Throwing you on the spot there, haven't I?
Yeah, I do.
You can't say now because it's just recency bias. It's something shiny and new.
I think it could definitely. It could be, but I love Universal Studios so much that Islands doesn't even top Universal Studios for me. So like,
I think all 3 of us on here, Universal Studios Florida #1. Yes.
Yeah, so me and my boyfriend are like Islands of Adventure boyfriend, Universal Studios girlfriend, like. but for Epic, yeah, I think it could definitely because they're gonna settle in, like the houses will settle, so we'll actually get a feel for what it's like on a daily basis rather than when they're getting the spotlight all the time. But yeah, I think it could definitely have the chance to be #1. The only thing that it's a little isolated, so there is something beautiful about walking through City Walk and being able to switch parks really easily when you're at the other property. But Epic as itself and existing in its own little walls, I think could definitely be a #1 spot in like 3 years.
Kenny, will the nostalgia of Universal Studios ever be beaten for you?
I don't think so.
I'm the same. I'm the same, don't worry.
Yeah, I will say this. I think Epic is probably one of the best theme parks in Orlando for sure, if not the best. I mean, I'll put it this way. My personal preference might be Universal Studios Florida. However, I acknowledge that Epic Universe probably, on best, paper,
all-rounded.
I think it is. It's a very well-rounded park, and I see myself spending a lot of time here. I cannot wait till they add it to annual passes. And I think it's going to influence the way that I visit. Like there might be some trips where it's going to be just Epic and maybe not even going to the current resort. And then some trips might be, okay, a City Walk Islands Studios trip. It just depends on timing and everything.
The thing that we don't know what's going to replace Rip Ride Rocket yet. So like if they like really tap into the classics for us there, it could be like
you've not been told yet, Danielle. Surely you get inside knowledge.
I learned things from Facebook, just like everybody else.
I was hoping for an exclusive there.
No. So I'm just like picturing like, oh, you talked about the power bands expanding Epic, but I'm like, what if the power bands like give us that new Rip Ride Rocket area? What's it gonna? And then Universal Studios is gonna fight back. They're like, oh, you wanted nostalgia? Like we're gonna fight you, Epic, for that number one spot. So I can see that. The only other thing was I found guest services to be incredibly accessible at Epic. Like they were not hidden. They're in front of every single portal. So if I had any questions or just I had general feedback, they were right there. And I feel like sometimes they're a little hidden at other parks, not just Universal, but else like they're a little too hidden. But Epic really is leading, like we are taking care of you travelers. So let us know if you need anything.
Oh yeah, team members were fantastic all the way around, from security, from the time you got there to the different areas. I mean, I can't praise them enough for how well they handled everything throughout previews, everything so far. I mean, they've been amazing.
And my top tip, more than the parking garages in that lot, take a photo of where you parked your car. It is a huge parking lot. You do not want to wander around. It is hot. Your legs are tired by the end of the day. You need to know where you parked your car. Like it is a massive parking lot.
I hate it when I don't rent a car when I come out to the States anymore, but when you used to go to the parking garage and there was just horns going off everywhere because everyone's clicking their remote at the same time. It's like, what's going on? I'm overstimulated. I can't find everyone's beeping at the same time. Yeah. No, I just get on the bus and go to stuff. So it's much easier.
This is why you will not catch me staying off property when I go to Universal. Like even if it's one night, I'm staying somewhere so I can get the bus service.
It's so much easier.
Very valid.
Right, and I think that'll just about do it for this episode. Another really enjoyable one. I've absolutely loved chatting all things Epic today. I'm still so jealous that you've both been and experienced it, and I've not yet. But yeah, thank you both for your time. But by June, we'll all have visited Universal's newest theme park since 1999. So with that being said, we will see you in the next one.